Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Maria Vanga, yeah. Maria Vanga, every other woman. That's enough for today. Maria Vanga, mother. Maria Vanga, every other woman, right? Maria Vanga, mental health advocate. Mark. Wow, it's 16 minutes past 6 p.m. And I'm still lying on my bed, but I am in such a beautiful place. And after this live video, I'll go out of my room, of the house. I'll go up to the road, take some fresh air, and maybe buy a bottle of top and come and share with the children. That's life. But what happened to me today? These are the kind of things that can happen to someone and they lose their mind. That's why I say an emotionally triggering and charged day. Uh, Trauma is not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens to you. And a traumatic experience is not necessarily a combat or a big thing or rape and stuff like even little things like that can be a little experience can be traumatic, especially when it wasn't expected. That is the shock that actually leads to the experience becoming traumatic, and people deal with things differently. And our brains are wired in such a way that they are usually on high alert more than they are on calm down mode. So because humans started from the very beginning being very wary of their surroundings. Early man wary of wild animals, looking for means to survive, to discover things, fire, all of those things, hunting for food, protecting children. So we are still with that brain, like the least thing we go into danger mode, and we are either fleeing, flight, or fighting, or sometimes we freeze. So today something happened to me that really triggered me, like almost to the extreme. And I could be surprised by my reaction, but I already know that I can react that way. And what I can now do is to focus on coping, and coping in a much more healthier way than before. And one good thing I've noticed today is that I did not take offense with people telling me it is well. The last time I was in this kind of a mood and people said it is well, I flared up. So this is big improvement. And to another person, it can be nothing. But to me, it's something. And what happened to me, I've written it, I've shared it and all of that. I don't want to revisit it because I don't want to give it any more power. I'm across that because what I know happened to me was not the incident itself of today, but it was the shock and the trauma that I got from that experience. And it's not the first time that kind of a thing is happening, but it was like one time too much for me. Like, this kind of thing that gets you into that situation of like, who does this person take themselves for? How can they dare? How can they play with my emotions like that? How can they set me off like that? Oh, and back in those days, if you have access to this person, you might be tempted to call them and tell them all what you have, or rant and insult and stuff. But my own way now is to do it online, to write it there on Facebook, not necessarily calling names, but I mean, if this person just tries me again next time, I'm going to put their name there. Because I cannot keep this pain. I cannot be the one to suffer. No, people should be sensitive. My mental health is fragile. You cannot say, oh, you have to deal with it. Okay, fine. So I'm dealing with it my own way. Don't blame me the way I deal with it, right? Everybody should. Either you know that somebody is fragile and you know the way you deal with them, or you allow them to deal with the situation their own way. Then don't complain. That is it. Like somebody was saying, uh, Somebody was telling me a story. One of the people who called me to show just some support, make me laugh and stuff like that. And they were saying, somebody gave another person a good slap. And so this person was so surprised, and they asked the person, "Are you crazy?" And the person who has slapped them said yes. And so the other person asked them that, "Since when did you start being crazy?" The person said, "Today." So the other person said, "I beg, please stop this, you're crazy. Don't go too far with it because you can kill somebody with that crazy." And I laughed and laughed, and I was like, yeah, so if you know that somebody is crazy, will you want to go and try them in their craziness? No, because you cannot tell. Somebody, for example, who is really crazy, they don't have a problem taking out their clothes, taking off their clothes. So if you are fighting with a crazy person and then they start tearing their clothes, it's for you to run, because the next thing is that they'll tear your own. After all, they don't care being naked. Or you don't even start fighting with them because you already know this is somebody who has no, what people sometimes say, get shame. They have no shame. There's nothing like embarrassment, all of that, nada. I'm already down. I'm already crazy. I'm already, like Oprah was explaining, the brain, I'm back down to level 1, the primitive part of my brain. That is the part that is operating at that time. So the rational part is not thinking, nothing. So you cannot expect me to be thinking like some rational person, behave yourself, calm down. No, no, no. I have to first calm down that part, which is on high alert. Once I calm down that part, then I can start going back up again and come back here. And sometimes it is difficult to calm yourself down. So you have to reach out. You have to reach out for help. And that is something sometimes people struggle with. Maybe because of stigma, because they're afraid, what will people say? Or how can Maria Banga be struggling with this kind of thing? Oh, it's over 10 years now that you left that marriage. Why should these things still trigger you? Oh yeah, well, I live with post-traumatic stress disorder. So any traumatic experience sets me off. It can be anything, even a move. And something might not set me off, something might set me up. It can even be a pleasant experience for another person, but for me, it will set me up. And I remember when I went to the American embassy to sign our first grant, and that whole experience was traumatic for me. But that was such a pleasant experience, going to sign a grant for millions, but it set me off. And I came back and I hyperventilated and I panicked and everything. Somebody will not understand. How can you go to a whole US embassy, sign a grant, take pictures with the ambassador, all of that, and then you are set off? It wasn't that what happened that day. It was what I experienced in my head going through that. So sometimes people don't understand, and I'm thinking I have to start explaining some of these conditions again, do some series on my channel or on my page and stuff like that. But I also use my personal experiences, because for me, I keep it real, and that's my purpose in life, right? So I don't shy away from that, and I think people can relate. And I know I'm not the only person who goes through this or who lives through this, and this kind of, like my situation, right? You are a single mother, and where you have to sometimes fight so that needs can be met, so that you can get the respect you deserve, so that the children can be taken care of the way they need to be taken care of, and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you, sis. Yes, identifying your triggers, and okay, now coping, and I did a post about coping mechanisms, and I shared some of mine. Right, there can be many, and it can be applicable in different circumstances. Anyhow, there was a time when the last time I went to that school and went through the same thing, one of my first coping mechanism was just to stop at Cafe Vienna and get me pizza. It was like pizza was just going to calm me down, pizza and hot chocolate, and but I still wrote about it, because something that really helps me a lot is talking about it. I'm not that kind of person who thinks that I should keep things to myself. I tried, it doesn't work. I have to share. As I write like that, I'm releasing it to the universe. And I know that some people, good-minded people, are going to reach out to me, because I do that to other people. And when you're a good person, you only attract good. Even the bad that comes is not going to be much. And honestly, that's what I have received today. Just so much from people who called me and shared things, and I could laugh and I could cry. And from my sister, one of my kid sisters, not my direct sister, but one of my junior sisters. She sent me 1K for data because I didn't even have enough data. So I could go on YouTube and just watch things that could make me laugh and learn some stuff and all of that. And then another one sent things for the kids because tomorrow is David's birthday, and all of that kind of thing. And oh my goodness, it's just been, I cannot say overwhelming, but it's been so emotionally pleasant for me to get the amount of support and all the people sending me all the hugs on Facebook and in WhatsApp and in a Messenger. I'm like, oh my goodness. Sometimes we hold our pain, because we are thinking nobody will understand. Have you even given people the opportunity to understand? And even if they don't understand fully, that is not the point. The point is that they even have an empathetic stance, like they can even just say, I'm sorry, this shall pass and it is well, like some people say, and God got you and we love you. All those things matter. And this thing, that mental health, we don't joke about it because somebody can go overboard before you realize what you have done. Look, when I was coming back from that school today, it started to rain. I took out my umbrella from my bag, but I didn't open it. And then I just realized that I had not opened it. And I was like, whatever, I had my Googles on because some little tears were still coming out, but I was trying to contain them. I almost got hit by a car because before I realized I was almost into the road. And when I was going to that school, I walked and I was walking happy and all of that. But when I was coming back, it wasn't the same me. And I took like 30 minutes to come back. Whereas to go to that school would take you 10, 15 minutes maximum, right? And you don't need to be ashamed of your experience. And I'm not. For me, I actually want to be alert. I want to be aware because I know I will use that experience later on to help somebody, to share. And people are going to watch and people are going to be like, yeah, this is it. Also, don't be ashamed, And it's also a way of shunning stigma, of saying, yeah, this is me. I'm vulnerable. This is me. I go through tough times. I reach out to somebody on WhatsApp and I told them I was under the radar. They didn't reply immediately. I didn't take offense, because, well, you don't know where they are. So that's why I said one of the things you also do is you try to reach out to as many people as possible so that those who can respond, those who cannot will not, and those who might not get it right away will get it later or whatever. But don't limit yourself to one person, let's say to your partner or stuff, and then you start feeling like, oh, they're not responding. Then, sometimes your mind is also it's at a place where it's quick to pick up on what people don't do at that time. So if you reach out only to one person, that one person doesn't respond immediately, you will think more of negative than positive. So you'll be like, yeah, well, they don't care. Whereas if it's their own, I will care. Those thoughts came to my mind too, and I was quick to quell those thoughts and say, hey, come on, shut up now. You don't even know this person for long. You don't even know if they're on their phone. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know that. So I was rationalizing it. And that is something beautiful. And it's only when you grow through the process, like all my years of dealing with it and facing it and admitting that I struggled, getting a diagnosis for me was so beautiful because I could make sense of a lot of my experiences growing up and even the way I was reacting. And then I could start now working on, more healthy ways to cope, because before I had very unhealthy ways of coping, even very unhealthy attachment styles in my relationship. I had all of those things. I could look at it. That's why I say now maybe I have a low threshold, because I'm like, you need to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, I cannot now, where I am, start going back down again to help you to come up. Sometimes it's too much. So I will just refer you to sources, including my videos, but I cannot accompany you day by day. I sometimes even therapy practice that some clients I turn down seriously, because now I'm not going to trauma bond with you. I'm still struggling myself sometimes, like today, right? And I'm happy. No, let me be honest. I'm happy that a client who was more of a Saturday afternoon client, well, they stopped coming. I tried to reach out, what's happening, no feedback. So I'm like, okay, well, good. So I have my Saturday afternoons to myself. I had some work to do for my school in the office today. But my head is still aching up to now, right? So I just told myself, forget about all of that. Put your music, take a good book, you know, chat with people who want to chat with you, laugh, do stuff. Yeah, I explained to the kids what's going on, and oh look, my first son sent me 2K. How sweet. Oh my goodness. The other one gave me chips. The other one said, it's okay, mommy. So it's not like I just locked myself in a room. No, I told them why. And they know what I go through and stuff like that. And it's beautiful. Be vulnerable. It is strong. It is not a sign of weakness, right? So that's why I share. And I know that people already know this about me. And then they still trust me to help them when they are also going through their own tough times. And that is so beautiful. And I think that the more people who are maybe in positions of leadership, whatever, let people see them for who they are, vulnerable people. I'm talking including our men of God and all of those people, pastors and stuff. Stop holding yourself to be superhumans. That way, when you say I'm vulnerable, I'm struggling, I have this problem, people are not going to judge you. People are not going to say, so you too can struggle. No, 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 no. You who have always been that, because you have already shown them from the beginning who you are. And so I really want to appreciate. I want to be like, oh my goodness, I'm so blessed. So, so blessed. There was a time when Gabi was sick and I put it out there and stuff. And up to today, his father has not even talked about it. I've gotten to a point where I don't even expect him to, get involved morally, emotionally. That's why when he does anything, it is such a surprise, and I really appreciate it, because I'm like, well, and I'm really kind of making up my mind to get to a stage where I should be prepared to pick up the tabs he doesn't pick up, including their tuition. I'm getting there, and I think that next academic year, I'm already seeing how I can, so that nothing shocks me anymore. Because today was such a shock, I could collapse. Because it was the second time happening, and this is a child who just started secondary school. So I'm like, no, 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 this is not possible. But it was possible. That's what happened. But if I was prepared for this, I would not even have bothered. So that's why it is also important to not only identify your triggers, but even have your plans, plan A, plan B, and stuff like that. And wow, wow, wow. Okay, well, so that is it. And don't forget to appreciate all the help you get. It mustn't be financial help. No, in moments like this, what you just need is for someone to hold space for you. Look, a phone call, a chat is more than any amount of money you can get. For me, really, money doesn't get to me. It doesn't. Seriously. What gets to me is the love, is the care. People can give you money and they don't care about you. So no. Someone once offered me a journal. I'm still using that journal. I've not even finished with that journal, right? And it means so much, like the becoming journal. Like, oh my goodness. Even if this person had given me $300, it would have meant nothing to me. But offering to get a journal for me, mailing it to my sister sending it to me. Oh my goodness. That whole process is like a love triangle. So that is what I also encourage people to do. If you see somebody share their journey or their struggle on Facebook, don't be quick to, don't laugh at them, don't judge them. I mean, just send them some love, just say hugs. Or you can say it is well, I now understand what it means, it is well. Before I did not understand, or you reach out to them, or WhatsApp, you say, we are together. Or you don't say nothing than to say something that is going to get them to, you don't already know their brain is already at 160 mph. So you can say something that just makes them to fiap before they know they've done it. So that is why I share, right? May was Mental Health Awareness Month, and today is World Sickle Cell Day. I lost it completely. Fortunately, I had participated in their campaigns a few days ago. Oh my goodness. And you can imagine when you are living with a condition like that, you are also very fragile mentally, and anything can set you off. So let's really be Yes, my dear, I will really lower my expectations a lot. Let's also be sensitive to how we react to what people put out there. And I really appreciate the way people react to what I put out there. I think I've spoken a lot. And so people know that if you see Maria Banga's thing, either you are being empathic or you just get lost. Don't try to leave one of those kind of comments. I can come after you behind, like on WhatsApp or direct message in a way that you will not recognize. So the best thing to do is either you relate or you just pass and go you, and don't make me to block you on such a day. And of course, I'm also learning how to take more care of myself. And yeah, all is well that ends well. Thank you so much, everybody, for the love, for the support, for everything. I really, really, really appreciate. And yes, I'm going to dress back up and go out of my house now and probably buy a top or two. Oh my goodness, God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. God bless us all.